You may be aware that if you cast your mind back to before the war, before the pandemic, that there was, big issues in the world around mental health, particularly in the West, and a lot of people suffering, not feeling like they can open up, not feeling like they can talk to people who can help them, basically. And that could be friends, that could be loved ones, it could be professionals. It doesn't matter as long as it works. And obviously, since then, there's been a lot happening. We've had a pandemic, and we've had a war. We're having a war in Ukraine. Well, let's just say that another war. There's always lots of wars going on in the world, and they're all equally as horrific. So during that process, I certainly have been aware that there's been a lot of doom broadcast in the media, in social media, and you could say it fits in with the way that these platforms work. That it's that outrage, fear is kind of a currency of some of these platforms in some ways, not in all ways. There are positive aspects as well. But anyway, there seems to have been like a lot of doom messaging, a lot more than usual. That's no unusual thing, but it does seem to be been ramped up. And so all of this, the isolation, the fear of imminent trouble coming to our doorsteps, the not knowing when it's all going to end. These are all classic signs of increasing level of anxiety among the population. We all have what's called free-floating anxiety, which is, let's say, a background of worry, of fear, and what can happen is messages that are broadcast to lots and lots of people can give us a thing to attach that anxiety to, that free-floating anxiety. Okay, it's because of this. It's because of this virus. It's because of this country, this political leader. And sure, a lot of anxiety is probably due to that anyway. But much of the residual anxiety could be down to all sorts of things that are, in our personal lives. Anyway, so that's kind of how it's all working, and it's obvious, I think, to everyone that that's taking its toll. We won't be aware completely for a number of years of the impact that the pandemic and now perhaps the war has had on people's health, their mental and physical health. It takes a while to understand what that impact's going to be, but it does seem clear that it's going to have quite a big impact. Some people say that perhaps the impact of that will be deeper than what the virus directly caused, the trouble that the virus directly caused in itself, or perhaps even a war. Anyway, that's for another conversation. We can speculate either way about that. And there's a great need. There's a great need for change, for people to listen to one another, for people to connect, for people to remind each other of the sweet things in life, to pay attention to the brightness, the joy, the wonder in life, of which there's much. And I think part of that process is also being able to express what truly troubles us, our anxieties, our fears, being open to that darker side, and being vulnerable about it, sharing it openly, that difficult, really, really touchy underbelly that there is to life, and that everybody has, and I have as well. So all of this is happening, and I genuinely feel like I'm in a position to help. I already help, a lot of people every day. I have conversations with people about exactly these kinds of things, about how we try to control things, that we often try to control things in life that are uncontrollable, and that when we let go of those things that are out of our control, first of all realizing that we can't control them, and then let go of them, and realizing that perhaps there's only like a handful of things here that I'm actually have an influence over, that I have control over. That obviously helps us to relax. This helps us to feel more free, more peaceful, and that in turn helps us to feel more in control. So it may be that realizing that we have very little control, but realizing that, okay, if I have little control, I only have to focus on these few small things that I genuinely do have control over. It helps us to feel more in control somehow. So that tends to be a process that I work through with people quite a lot every day. Obviously, we're listening. I'm listening to a lot of people talking about pain, about fear, about anxiety. Really sharing their vulnerabilities, and that's something that is remarkable and something that is a gift for me. That somebody would trust me to know that I can listen to these things, and I can relay them, and I can ask the kinds of questions that are going to ultimately help them to move out of a difficult place in life is one of the best things in the world. For me, that's why I love what I do. So I was thinking, what do I really want, and why am I not doing everything that I can to reach more people, to help more people in those ways? It seems to be that there's a great need for it. I have, I'm relatively busy, but I do have more time, more availability to help more people in that way, and I really want to do that. And I know that people want to be helped in such a way. So I know in order to do that, I need to increase my communication with you. I need to have a dialogue. I really want to hear what's going on in your journeys, and hopefully you'll be interested to hear what's happening in my journey as well. And through doing that, perhaps I can find a way to offer this side of what I do as well, and hopefully by taking a leap, by trusting in what you feel is right, by perhaps listening to people who've had help in this kind of way before, some of you might feel like taking that step and benefiting from this kind of work. When I say this kind of work, I'm talking about coaching, I'm talking about hypnotherapy. These are the two things that I do. Essentially, they all work in a similar way. They both work in a similar way. Like I say, I'm listening to genuinely how people feel, to the vulnerability in them, and I'm offering back responses about what I'm listening to that might help them to make sense and understand what it is that they're saying. Then I'm shining a light on the areas on which perhaps they may not realize that they don't have the control that they think they do, or they're not perhaps able to have the control that they really want. And that's a common one. But also to shine a light on where they do have control, what they can do about their situation. And then essentially they do the work. I'm just here to reflect and to notice. I just wanted to share all of that with you, and to say that I want to put the word out there. I want to put the message out there. I don't find it easy to do this. There might be days where I find it difficult, where I drop the ball a little bit, but I really feel like it's important. So my commitment to you is to several times a week to talk to you, whether it's through video or through a post or through an audio message, or who knows what. But that's what I want to do, and I want to open a dialogue, and I want to hear what you have to say about what I have to say, and I really want to hear if you have any of your journey to share as well. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again. Bye bye for now.